What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Kabang, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com, at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Austin Wang with me at awang_HTX. A little bit of a late show today. I had a busy morning, but hopefully we start off Monday pretty strong here to start the week. Man, there's a lot of injury report stuff going on right now. I just saw that pretty much everybody in Portland's sitting. Uh, Lots of stuff going on, man. How you been in the NBA, Austin?
I've been doing all right. Last week has been rough. March was started off really strong. Had a big win this weekend with the Bucks and the Nuggets under on Saturday night. That was a big play of mine, and yeah, happy it
Oh,
hit. That
true.
was,
I think we all had that one, didn't we?
yeah,
We did. Yeah, we had that one.
yeah, and it was crazy because it was a 75-point first quarter, and then
Yeah, yeah.
it was looking really good in the fourth quarter, and they had that scoring barrage at the end
Mm-hmm.
to get it really close. So
Yeah,
glad we
yeah.
got the W on that one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, it's
Other
been all
than
right.
that, man, it's like always like up and down, right? There's some games that we like, and then we don't play, but then we play the ones that end up losing. Like because we run a lot of systems and queries and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and sometimes it's tough to break it down to a quantity that you want, right? Like if you get like 8 system plays that pop up
Yeah,
and you only want to play like 3 or 4 of them,
yeah.
man, sometimes the heavy leans are the ones that hit and then the official ones don't. But
And you know
it's
what?
tough, man.
The ones that have the most systems active on it, yeah, you could chalk that one up as a loss, right? Because
Yeah, because like basically everybody's on it and shit like that. So yeah, well, hopefully we start off Monday pretty good here. I'm late today. Like I ran my systems. I did some team trend stuff, but for the most part, man, I'm like not even completely through the whole card yet. But I wanted to do the show, see what else you got, and also we wanted to talk about player level data in SDQL because we on the show here we do a lot of team trends and systems and stuff like that. But getting down to the player level data, especially for people who do player props, I think that stuff is going to be super important. I mean, it's late in the season, but it's never too late to learn a new skill set, right?
Mhm.
Especially with SDQL. So let's actually get started with that first, Austin, and then we'll go into the games after that. But you want to share your screen?
Sure, yeah. All right.
All
Can you
right.
see it?
Yep. So we got Spodevs up here.
Yep. So I mentioned this because I sometimes don't think that the player level data is fully utilized to its maximum potential here. And just to note, out of the three SDQL sites, the main three SDQL sites that we use, um, Give Me the Dog has player level data,
Hmm.
and Spodevs has player level data. So what you can do, and it becomes really useful, is if someone is announced, a key player is announced in or out, you can run queries based off that. So the database is loaded into the system by team, and each game there's a list of players. That gets loaded for the players that suit up and play in the game. So, for instance, if you want it, so let's go back and take a look at this. Joel Embiid is ruled out for the 76ers. So if you wanted to see how the 76ers do without Joel Embiid in the lineup, this is the query that you would use. You would put in a single apostrophe Joel Embiid, and please note that this is case sensitive, so and make sure everything's capitalized, not in player. That's the name of the table, and all the names, all the players' names are in a list. So you could put this player list name. So this means that Joel Embiid is not in the list of players' names that were active for that game. And then here, the rest is straightforward. This is the current season 2022, and then the team is 76ers. So you hit enter in here, and you'll see that the 76ers are 9-4 straight up, 8-5 against the spread, 8-5 to the over. So that's one way you can utilize player level data. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that they go over most of the time because they'll play faster without Joel Embiid on the court. So
Yeah. So the other thing too, like you could do multiple, right? Like earlier, I was looking at Kawhi Leonard in and Paul George out
yep.
for the
So yeah, let's do
Clippers.
that real quick. Oh, oops. Kawhi Leonard in player list name and Paul George not in player list name Yep, and you can see those games have gone 4-1 and 1 to the under when Kawhi plays and Paul George doesn't. So that's another way you can use this tool.
Mm-hmm.
Although I feel like it's missing a game because there was a game against the Thunder.
Was that recent?
Yeah. We'll have to take
Check.
a look at that.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, you're right, because I remember I moved to Give Me the Dog because I saw one game that was out where Mark Williams for the Hornets was out, and then Spodevs didn't have it, but Give Me the Dog did.
So if you want to see, and like I mentioned earlier, the spelling is very particular and the capitalization is very particular, so it's all case sensitive. But there are players who have like apostrophes in their name, hyphens in their name. And if you're not exactly sure how it's loaded up into the database, you can, list it out in a table format and just say, let's just say the Kings, for example. De'Aaron Fox, how his name is loaded up into the database is DEAA. It doesn't, it excludes the apostrophe, but it capitalized the A in Aaron. So De'Aaron Fox. So you have to spell it exactly like this. Otherwise, you're not going to get any good results. So let's say De'Aaron Fox was declared in tonight. So, yep. But in the case that he wasn't, you could go in here and see how they do without De'Aaron Fox. They're 3-4 straight up, 4-3 against the spread, and 5-2 to the under, which makes sense there. So yeah, those are some cool ways you can utilize player level data. Oh, another something you can use is let's go back to the Joel Embiid. You can check how other players perform when somebody's out. So you can again do it in a table form, and you could say player. Who do we want to check? Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris rebounds when Joel Embiid is out. Seems like. I misspelled rebounds.
See, I wasn't sure if Spodevs does the tables, but I know Give Me the Dog does.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I go, I think I have one up real quick. 1 second.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I'm gonna take over real quick, just show it. So Give Me the Dog does the custom tables that Austin was trying to do, and this is actually your syntax that you provided me one day. But what I did was, since Giannis is out, right? Giannis is out today, right? So I wanted to look at Bobby Portis specifically, and what I did here was pretty much created that table, right? So it's the date, the team. Obviously, we're looking at the Bucks here. We have the line, who they faced, the opponent line, the total, and this is like what the Bucks scored versus what their opponent scored, and then it gets to that player level data, right? You specifically chose Bobby Portis points, rebounds, and assists because we were looking at the PRA, right? So what happened is in the part after that where we have that Bobby Portis in player list name, then I go team equals Bucks, season equals 2022. Then I added when Giannis is not in. So we use that same syntax. Giannis Antetokounmpo, not in player list name, and then that pops up. And when we do it in order, so I just put it in order of date from most recent games to the later games. Is that right? 3-11. Okay, yeah. So we have the Bucks here. versus the Warriors, 15-13-2, 28-13-2, 16-11-1. So people looking at like Portis double doubles or even PRA, I think that would be a nice look today. And you can see this one here against the Suns only played 21 minutes, so you can kind of see why he didn't have the numbers that we expected. But other than that, 6 of the last 7 instances, he's gotten a double double. If you go a little bit further, you got a couple more here. Tonight might be the day that you take that. I haven't looked at it yet. I just pulled this up while you were breaking it down in Spodevs. But yeah, so this is another thing that you could do from a player level data is be able to see how they did in certain situations. You can even add like one day I looked at when I think it was Giannis was in that game, but then I looked at the Bucks when they're double digit favorites, right? Because I expected them to kind of dominate that game. And if it gets to a point where they're winning by margin towards the end of the game, probably see a lot of Bobby Portis. So I expected him to put up a decent amount of numbers. I believe it's this one here. Heavy line, right? I don't know if it, man, I don't remember it being 19 and a half. I thought it was like 17 or something like that. But you can see we ended up getting that double-double because it was a blowout. Giannis and all those guys, the key guys, didn't really have to play a lot of minutes. He still did it with only 25 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much that's another way that you could use player level data over at Give Me the Dog. Spodevs also has it, but you don't have that ability to do the custom tables like this.
And I'm sold on the Bobby Portis double-double then.
Bobby Portis double-double. I don't know what his PRA is either, or his PNR, but that might be a way to look at it as well. I was trying to pull up Zach LaVine because someone in the chat mentioned it was Javi. Yeah, Javi. I was trying to pull up Zach LaVine, but it didn't work.
You probably have to capitalize the V.
Oh, that's probably what it was. Yeah, you're right. Hold on. I'll just bring that up real quick.
I think that's what it is. It gets really it's very particular about how you case sensitive.
So let's just do this Zach LaVine one real quick, and then we'll go into some of the games that we. Because I just want to be able to answer some of the questions that they have. So we got Zach LaVine. Hopefully this works. Then we go Bulls.
That's the thing, it takes time to go through all these player props, and look at all these angles. So
yeah,
now that y'all are armed with the tools, make sure you share with us all the great player prop angles that y'all find.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I got Zach LaVine. I did specifically on the road. I could also do third and 4. Did they play yesterday? The Bulls?
Yep.
I can't even remember.
They played, what was it?
Well, hopefully that runs. Well, since it there it is. All right, so we have LaVine on the road here. If we look back a little bit, what was he saying? Under 26 and a half tonight. All right, so on the road specifically, he's hit that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 26 and at least 6 in a row. If we go and say rest equals 0, though, maybe that might be what you're asking for. The back-to-back, how LaVine does in back-to-backs. Let's go recent games here. So 18. That's a good point. The only one he went over in the last 5 games is this one against the Pistons. That's an interesting look. So that under, if you go even further, back to December here, 21, 22, 30. So they went over in 2 games only since then on the second leg of back-to-back games.
Interesting.
So LaVine under, trends would say yes. If you're still watching, Javi, I know it took a while to get there, but hopefully you're still watching. And yeah, so trends say under. That's an interesting take there. All right, let's go on to the games now. Let's move on. Let's move to let's do Kings and Wolves first. I think that's the one we were kind of aligned on. Go and talk about what you like about the Kings here.
Right. Some of my systems that I had were just fading the Timberwolves. They played that. They got a great win against the Warriors last night. Very slim margin. It played all the way down to the last second. Second night of a back-to-back on the road. So I expect some fatigue. I expect a bit of a letdown spot after that close win. And the Kings are they've been rocking and rolling. And Timberwolves, I know they got Karl Anthony Towns back. Is he going to be playing these back-to-backs? I know they haven't had any news saying otherwise, but could be something that we get surprised with at the 11th hour, or it could affect his performance. Still not being at full speed and just now getting back to the court. So I thought the Kings had a nice advantage here. I made the line minus 6.5, and that was, I was being generous with factoring Karl Anthony Towns back into the lineup. So I see some value here on the Kings. I know it's been bumped up. I really liked it at 4 earlier, but since they ruled De'Aaron Fox in, that line's moved up to minus 5.5 now.
I think it went back to open. Yeah, because I remember it opened at 5.5 last night. I pulled a system on it as well, and then I saw the Fox questionable, so I didn't want to touch it. And then it went down to 4.5, and then when he was announced in, jumped straight to 5 right away, and then I guess it's at 5.5 now.
Yep.
Oh, so some places at 5.5.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few 5s out there. So yeah, definitely would play 5. 5.5 might be the most upper limit I would play it at. But yeah, I'm taking the Kings. I had another system, was basically like elite teams. So teams with the winning percentage of 60% or greater. They're home favorites, and they're playing, their opponent is on the second night of a back-to-back. That has performed pretty well over the last couple of years. Now, if you take a look at the Kings in particular, and you can argue that Kings aren't a elite team, but their record says so. But they haven't done well against teams on their second half of back-to-back. So that's sort of the case against that theory. But in general, those good teams take care of business at home against teams on the second game of a back-to-back is ultimately what that system says.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't even notice that the second leg of back-to-back games they struggle. But look at the over. So if we look at the Kings here at home on the second leg of versus teams on the second leg of back-to-back games, it looks like they try to push the pace here.
Yeah.
Right, kind of take advantage of the tired legs. If you look at that first quarter specifically, that's the highest scoring quarter in the full game by margin. Right, both teams are scoring up there. If we go back to the Wolves side, and I looked at on the road on the second leg of back-to-back games, it is
interesting.
It is 5-0 to the over, a full game. This one here, the highest scoring quarter is the second quarter, and the next one would be first quarter here.
Oh wow! I have some of my assist to turnover ratio over systems that's active on the Kings too. So maybe I think we may be cooking up a lean to the over here.
Yeah, full game over, or even that first quarter. I know that in this specific trend, the second quarter is the highest, but when we looked at the Kings, that first quarter, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Because they want to push the pace early, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If they're opposing teams on the second leg of back-to-back games, they want to push it.
So usually you tend to see those tired teams, those tired legs will start showing up later on in the game, and it doesn't really affect them as much early on. So
that's a good point. I like it. I like. I was kind of looking towards the Kings here, and then all of a sudden it's moving in towards.
So you're looking at like an early over or a full game over? Or
I would say maybe, because I've done this with Chris when we do the show too. Sometimes we take that first quarter over, and if it hits, then obviously it hits, right? But if it doesn't, you would think that they would kind of. I would say if the pace is there, but they were missing their shots for some reason,
right?
I would probably go live on the over.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense to me.
And then this one here, I have a simple trend here that kind of points to 2 games actually. So this is road dogs coming off of a road win, and then their opponent has been at home for 3 or more games in a row. That's what it says, right, Ozan?
That's straight. Yes.
Okay. So their opponent's been at home for 3 or more.
Yep. That's
You've
right.
been on the road, coming off of a road win. Now you're a road dog. It's 27-50-2 against the spread. So this is a fade spot. And this would say fade the Wolves and the Bulls. Take the Kings and the Clippers tonight. And then what I did was actually, so it's actually done pretty well. If you look at this season specifically, 9 and 15 APS. So that's about what, 62.5% for the opponent here, the home team, Kings and Clippers. If I go back to that time frame that I had, I think it was 2020. And then we say the road team is on the second leg of back-to-back games. It goes to 5-17-1 against the spread. So that's a pretty big percentage there on the fade spot. So that's kind of the two ways that I was looking in this game here. Obviously, I like the Kings here with Fox better than without him. But I think even if Fox didn't play, right, they would adjust the line and you would just have better number on the Kings, if that makes sense. But either way, I think Kings is the play. So for me, I would say Kings. If I was to bet this game right now, I would say Kings, and then over first quarter. And if the over in the first quarter doesn't hit, then I would say go live on the over, because eventually I think they would get there.
I like it.
Kings have been giving up a lot of points to centers. That's it. Daniel, do you know if the centers are, spread like shooters, or were they more like just normal centers who bang down low? Because I haven't been paying attention to what they've been giving up. Towns just got ruled out. Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Towns is out. Edwards is questionable.
All right. Well, then give me a second. Pause.
Pause before you do anything. What are you looking at?
No, I'm just trying to get some in before.
All right. You would think this would be good for the over, right? Wouldn't they push the pace now with Cat out? Kessler had 30. Oh shit! I didn't even notice that 31 without.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Let's just look at
I would think it would be better if. Now Anthony Edwards is questionable. Man. Yeah, I would tend to think Karl Anthony Towns is generally better for the over. But given that he is not, he just came back and still playing back to form. I'm not sure if that makes a difference at this point.
It looks like they're.
I need some time to digest this.
It looks like Adam goes one game without. Ant went over. Looks like their offensive efficiency this season specifically is better without him than with him. It is a small, well, I guess 23 is a pretty decent sample size. So it looks, but their pace wise, it's one possession slower, but it's still not significant. If the offensive rating is better by 3 points, but the pace is down, so I guess it would still say more over than under. Let me look at their defensive rating.
But then now you got to wait for Anthony Edwards too,
defensive rating without is worse too. So a lot of things pointing towards the over here. I might just get it. I might just take it.
Probably get a much better number now.
But I think you're right. Wait for Ant, and then take, because if he's out, you get a better number on the over, right? If he's in, I think we would like it regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's that's enough on that one. Let's go on to Blazers Pelicans. Is that the one?
Yep, that's one of the ones.
Let's go to Blazers Pelicans real quick. Blazers and Pelicans. What did you like on this one?
So in general, I had some systems that pulled the under, because of just the Blazers essentially shutting it down for the season, calling it a season.
Yeah, they just shut everyone down for today's game.
Yep.
Like everybody.
Yep. And the Pelicans defense, they've been number 1 in the last 5 games, number 5 since the All-Star break. So I was looking at a Trailblazers team total under here. Last time I checked, it was at 107.5. I just don't see anybody scoring for them, especially against a good defense like the Pelicans. So simple, straightforward. I was taking the under there for their team total. How about you?
Total, right? All right, so I'm looking at the Pelicans on the first leg of back-to-back games. 7-3 to the under, 6-4 ATS. For allowed, they did allow. Was this 4? So 6-4 to the under for the opponent team total. But both of these were very close to that. If we say, let's do. Oh, did I not do the road? If we go on the road, oh, it's just one game.
Yeah.
So on the road, there was only one instance that they go under, and they kept the Bulls under their team total.
Yeah, say what you will about the Pelicans. I mean, they start off the season really well, and then the injuries obviously derailed that. But I mean, I think they've been taking care of business against the poor teams, and I think their defense has to is responsible for that. And those games, like if they play a team that's a bad team, they've tended to go under, because of their defense, and they've tended to cover as well. So I like the under. I think that their offense has looked a lot better in recent games. So I'm a bit hesitant to bet the full game over, which is why I ultimately landed on the Trailblazers team total under.
I'm just looking at their numbers. Do you know what their team total is right now at the current moment?
107.5.
107.5. All right. So
the average without both of them is 102.8.
Yeah, without both of them. Now you're adding what? Jeremy Grant is out, right?
I know Nurkic is out. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, Nurkic is out. Yeah, he's in the. Let's look in. I'm pretty sure they probably got a couple of games here.
Yeah, Grant is out as well. With these games, you're just kind of worried that it turns into like a glorified exhibition, and these guys just go around.
Layup drill towards the end.
Layup drill, 3-point. But
look at this. Fuck. All right, so we look at second quarter and fourth quarter. Oh, you know why? Because that's when the second unit comes in, and they just can't do nothing because they got no depth. What? When we do something stupid like a second quarter team total under.
You know what? The other week I did that when they said Ja Morant was in, but then he was gonna come off the gonna come off the bench. So I went and played the Grizzlies second quarter, and they ended up killing them by winning that quarter by double digits. So hey man, if it makes sense, let's go for it, because for sure they don't have any depth.
Definitely no depth. That second quarter team total under makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know why right now.
Do books even offer that, like a second quarter team total?
I know they got like second quarter spreads at pregame, right? Second quarter pregame.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
you can do that pregame right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what you can do though is on your live, when you go live, you can probably do a live first half team total. First half team total under. Yeah, we're just
cool. Okay. That's an interesting look. Let's go see how Pelicans do, and because sure we can find it somewhere.
Where are you talking about?
I don't know. I was just gonna go look up Pelicans. I don't know, second quarter net rating or something like that.
Oh yeah. Okay, let me see. Road. And they're double-digit favorites right now. Look at this. Pelicans as double-digit favorites, 6-0 to the under.
Okay. Yeah, Pelicans.
All right. They haven't allowed a single 107 yet. Damn, that team
yeah.
under. I think
Yeah, like I said, man, they've been taking I think their defense has just been legit against in these situations. Well, against the Warriors too. Oh yeah, because the Warriors those are the games they sat everybody on their team because they're on the second game of back-to-back. Interesting note, the Pelicans are 9th in the league in second quarter net rating. So do that with what you will. I think we may end up with a degenerate second quarter.
Would you? So I think I'm gonna take that Blazers team total under.
Okay, yeah, I'm already on it. So.
I'll see what happens after the first quarter, and then probably do something live if like I guess you guys watch the game or whatever, but probably something in that second quarter where you could probably take their team total under in the first half. If say the Blazers somehow scored 30 in the first quarter, I'll probably take the first half team total under live.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm probably gonna take that. Yeah, I'm gonna take that full game under 107.5. All right. Then that was a good one. All right, so the last one that I want to do, do you still got time or you gotta go?
No, I still got about let's see, probably about 10, 15 more minutes. Yeah.
10, 15? Okay, let's do this last game here first before you cut out. Rockets and the Knicks, because man, Knicks been kind of nasty to us a little bit. It takes you 25 minutes so you can write. Hey, yeah, you know how it is, Chris. All right, so this one here, I want to take the Knicks in a lot of ways. First, I kind of want to take them trifecta, to be honest. Real quick, I'll show you why. So we go Rockets. Where's my notes? So we go Rockets here, and we go second leg of back-to-back games. Equals 0. All right, so when the Rockets are playing the second leg of back-to-back games, 2-10 straight up, 3-9 against the spread. You see that 7-5 to the under, but I kind of want to focus more on just the spread here. Average full game margin, double digits there, 10.2. First quarter margin is where I see the biggest gap, right? That's about 5.6 there. And then I think the first quarter line right now is at 4.5, if I'm not mistaken, 4.5 or 5. And then if we go dive deeper into it, right, we say that their line is greater than or equal to 10. So they're double-digit dogs on the second leg of back-to-back games. There is that big ass gap here. The 6-0 straight up and against the spread, but that big gap here in that first quarter, 10.8. Obviously, you still get a gap here in the first half as well. Then you get the full 20-point margin on the full game. Man, like I can only look towards the Knicks way with or without Brunson here. I feel like we kind of talked about it right before the show. The Rockets are give it. I mean, obviously I feel like they've been out of it for a while, but at the same time, like I don't know, man. I feel like it should be this spot here for the Knicks. What are they on, like a 3-game losing streak right now? The Knicks.
Yeah. Feels longer than that because I feel like I've been betting and losing on the Knicks for a while now. So yeah. So fuck the Knicks at the moment. So.
The other one is all right. So what is the other one that I showed you? Okay. Rest greater than or equal to 2, and then the opponent is in the second leg of back-to-back games. So that huge rest advantage, right? It's a small gap, a small percentage, just 38, 43, and 3 against the spread, right? It says that's actually more profitable towards the team on the second leg of back-to-back games. But if you go and do double-digit favorite, you get the 8-1 straight up, 6-3 against the spread, and you see that first quarter, first half, and then the full game margin again. So just a lot of things really just pointing towards the Knicks here. I really wanted to see if you can kind of push me in that direction because I think we all got bitten by the Knicks here in recent games, but for the most part, that's the only way that I could look. I don't know, man. I want to take something on it in some way. Maybe just take the first quarter, since that's the biggest gap in most of the quarters, and kind of do that live look again. If they don't cover, hopefully the Knicks take advantage the rest of the way.
I will say the Rockets do have a tendency to play better in the first half, and then they kind of tail off in the second half. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe an early look.
Oh, there's a Rockets game here. Let's see how they did.
And then the Knicks, they typically do really well in the
Yes.
first half as well.
Hey, Rockets got smashed in the first quarter and first half here. Versus the
Was it
Thunder.
Munaf in the chat? He said something about Knicks. Oh no. Somebody mentioned Knicks first quarter like team total over or something like that.
I think Munaf said first quarter spread and team total over.
Yeah, so that's
I
in
feel like
line
we
with
did that
what
recently
you
too.
said.
Yeah, I like it. I'm probably just gonna take that first quarter and then kind of gauge after that and do maybe a lab bet on that.
Well, what I did a couple weeks ago was if the Rockets are leading or are pretty close in the first half, I'll usually just fade them in the second half or look for a live entry point like close to the end of the third quarter to fade the Rockets. And that worked out pretty well for me in those couple games.
All right.
So and the Knicks have a massive rest advantage. Rockets are on the second night of back-to-back. Knicks have been off for 3 days. So, yeah, huge advantage there.
For sure. All right. Well, that's 3 games down. Is there anything else you want to drop? Do one more. Do as far as the games.
Maybe. I think the only the Bulls and Clippers was the only one that piqued my interest.
Oh yeah. I think were we looking at the under in this one?
Yeah. Well, my system's like the Clippers, but I can't do it. I can't. The Clippers have been too disappointing, and I don't see how they just. I think the line got up to like, was it -6 at one point, which was just ridiculous. But
you got to -6 and came back down.
I felt like it did, or at least 5.
Oh yeah, it opened at here it opened at 5. Maybe there was some movement. I'm not really sure.
Anyhow, yeah, I just can't justify Clippers covering by margin. But the systems say they're in a very ideal spot. The Bulls on that West Coast road trip, second night of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, off a win. So it's just one of those like prime letdown spots. And Clippers are without, just one of those prime letdown spot for the Bulls. Bounce back for the Clippers after losing their last game. So I have some systems active on the Clippers, but not enough to get me there. But I do have some stuff on the under, just with the Bulls' ferocious defense, and I think their offense is going to be their tired legs is going to come into play here, and I see this game going under.
I know the Clippers at home have been like really good towards the under all season long. So I'm going back to because this one I showed this one earlier, but it does support Kings and the Clippers too. I know we talked about the Kings earlier, but also the Clippers. The same thing that you were just talking about, sort of that letdown spot, right? Road win, coming off a road win. Now they're a road dog. Then their opponent, they haven't had to travel for a bit, and then obviously they're less rested here. The road dogs are less rested. Would you look towards them in the first half? The Clippers? I know you said you're not sure about taking them full game, but would you?
Not really, because I think Clippers they're a really poor first half team, and the Bulls tend to do pretty well in the first quarter, of course, and first half to some extent. So
yeah,
no, I'm not going to be looking at taking a side at this one. I think I'm going to stick with the under here. I think it goes under. I have it at I make it around 217.5. So it gives me about a 3-point cushion of value there with the under.
So real quick before we close out, but I looked at the Clippers. I think I was talking about how they've been an under team at home. So I look at home favorites specifically, 18-10-1, and then I added non-conference. So Eastern Conference team coming home, 7-2 to the under, and then I said a losing record, and it goes to 6-1. I think it was. I just had it. Yeah, 6-1 to the under. You can see that full game is around 210. So there's still a good chunk of room there to take the under, because I know it opened at 223 and came down.
Yeah.
And then
and if you look at Bulls as an underdog, I think it's like 24-16 to the under. So we could play around with that and find different scenarios. Or
I had something.
25. Okay.
Here it is. So second leg of back-to-back games. Rest equals 0. And all right, so this one is second leg of back-to-back games, and then they're facing a team with a winning record, 5-0 to the under there.
Nice.
Again, it's around that 206, 210 range. There's a lot of these things. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Are you gonna take the full game under?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna get there.
All right, I think I'm gonna do that too.
How's the injury report looking? I felt like there wasn't. Oh, Marcus Morris just got declared out.
So I know Kawhi is still questionable, right?
Yeah.
Or was he upgraded to probable? Do you know?
No, I do not know. I'm checking right now. He's probable.
He is probable, so he should be playing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna look at the
pace. Well, when we saw earlier the Clippers.
Yeah, look at that pace for the Bulls last 10 games.
Yeah, no, the pace has been slow. Their defense.
Yeah, Clippers is down here too. I like it. Let's do this. I like this under. All right, I think we went through a good chunk of games there. Also went through that player prop thing. Yes, thanks for doing that too. I know that was your idea, and I think I thought it was a great idea to talk about the player prop stuff or the player syntax and all that stuff, and just kind of the things that you can add to your skill set, your tool set. Definitely something I've been using, but we didn't really do that too often in here.
Yeah. It's always something nice, like when somebody's out and you know who's going to be the main beneficiary, right? Mm-hmm. And there's other tools to use to look at that, but this is a nice way to kind of query and slice and dice. I think the first time I started using it was earlier this season when Porzingis was out, and we were looking up like Kyle Kuzma stats, and so it's just a different way to attack it, and it's very flexible and very dynamic. So you can, and there's a lot of stats in there, so you can do a lot with it. So.
Yeah, like I saw Chris's morning show, and he was talking about all the injury stuff that's going on and how you can kind of I forgot which game it was specifically. I think it might have been Fox, because we didn't know Fox was going to be in or out. Mm-hmm. But you could just check with and without, you know what I mean, like just to see ahead of time before any decisions could be made, because you can go through the day and listen to what the media says, right, and kind of gauge whether they're going to play or not. Mm-hmm. And then from that you can say, all right, well, maybe he's not going to play, and you could get ahead of the line in that sense.
For sure.
And then you could look not only from that player missing, but how does a specific player do when that player is missing? You know what I mean? Obviously, StatMuse is something that you could do, that you can use, but it's also limited, right?
Yep.
What if both Fox and Sabonis were out, right? How does Harrison Barnes do, right? Mm-hmm. This one, I believe you can only do one player. I'm doing the questions incorrectly, but for the most part, I've only been able to do one player out, not two. So SDQL is very flexible in that sense.
You can use equations, right? You could like add points plus rebounds plus assists to look at PRA and compare.
Yep. And then just like how we did Bobby Portis too, right? Exactly. How do they do when the Bucks are double-digit favorites or some shit like that? So definitely a lot more flexible than what you can do here on StatMuse, but you can definitely do like simple basic stuff on this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to the recap section, Austin. Go ahead and drop what you want to drop for the people here.
Okay, so played the Kings against spread. I mean, it's at -5. And wait, let's see. I want to give out a bad line here. 7.5. Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully you listened to it earlier and got the 5.5. So we talked
Wait,
about
it's
it.
7.5.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that jumped
Hey
quick,
man,
bro.
we talked about it before the news came out, so we're giving ourselves credit here.
Yeah, we definitely had it at 5 when we looked at it earlier on the screen. We can go back to that.
I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
Blazers team total under 107.5, and then I'm gonna go with the Bulls and Clippers under 221.
221. That one's moving down really fast too. If you can get 221 now, take it because I see 220 at Circa already.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wrote an article breaking down the Sixers and the Nuggets tonight, but that was before Embiid got ruled out. But I was on the under on that one. I've got that in my pocket. I don't like the under as much just because I think they'll have just a tendency to play faster without Embiid. I was more envisioning like just feeding the big man down low and Jokic and Embiid going at each other, and that would set up for like a slower game with higher defensive intensity. But I'm going to stick with the under, so take that for what it's worth. I've got a link in my Twitter profile over to the article at Action Network.
Cool. Yeah, I know you brought up that query too, the Sixers without Embiid, and they were actually profitable against the spread when he's not playing too. So you can see the line moving to 7 now for Denver.
Yeah.
You can make a case for taking Philly in this spot, in my opinion. I'm not, but I'm just saying they're profitable without Embiid. All right, so for me, let's go with. So I haven't full transparency. I haven't bet any of these yet. Fuck, I'm so sad that the Kings is -7 right now. I might have to look later. All right, so the stuff that we talked about though. So from the player prop perspective, I think the only one that I talked about was the Portis double or his rebounds and points. You can go.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell that too.
Yeah, either one of those there, and then probably just I don't know what the double number is, but I would probably just take the points and rebounds. If it's minus, fuck it, I'll probably just sprinkle on both. All right, so from the side and total perspective, though, we talked about the Kings. Obviously, that's at -7 now. I need to double check some stuff before I actually take that. But the other thing was the over in that game as well. We kind of looked towards that first quarter and the full game over. The Blazers team total under 107.5. Clippers Bulls under 2. If you can get 221, take it. I would say take it as soon as possible because it's continuing to go down. It's at 220 at Circa. And then I personally like the Knicks here. I feel like they can go trifecta on this Rockets team. I think that's all we talked about. I don't think there was anything else really. Okay, yeah, we talked about Blazers team total under. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, Bobby Portis double on prop builders -205. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, no. What's the points and rebounds?
I don't think they do points and rebounds, but their PRA is a juiced 30.5.
30.5?
Yeah, 30.5. Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yeah. We'll need to revisit that one. The rebounds is.
Let me just check real quick because I want to.
11.5. Maybe just a straight up 11.5 rebounds might make sense there.
All right, 11.5. Well, all right. So you said 30.5 for the PRA?
I mean, he doesn't get many assists, so
No, he don't. Rebounds at 11.5. What's his points?
17.5.
I think rebounds would be better than the points. I think, yeah, 11.5 rebounds. Fuck, 11.5. Can't you just build something? We could probably build something. I'll figure it out. I want to play Bobby Portis in some way, but man, that's
we'll do something.
Okay, that's it, guys. Shout out to Austin for doing that learning session in the beginning. I thought that was super helpful. Shout out to the chat as well for dropping all your information and asking questions and things like that as well. With that said, guys, that's the end of the show. And I always got to end with this: whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.